Good evening, fellow Blues. It's Stephen here on Tuesday, the 16th of September. 2 days after City's 3-0 victory, sorting the camera up there, against Man United in the derby, and a chance to look back at 5 things that we learned from that game. I know it's a couple of days ago now, but it's still very much in my head. I still very much enjoyed it, and I think there's plenty to dive into and plenty to take from that game. So let's go indeed. Let's revel in a derby victory before KDB comes and ruins our night on Thursday. Who's expecting that? I'm expecting that because that is live. But that is still 48 hours away, so let's not worry about that right now. Let's talk about the monster that is Donnarumma. Let's talk about Phil Foden, Kusanov, and loads more in this video. Don't forget, most people who watch these videos aren't subscribed, which means it's probably you watching right now, which means you're a silly Billy. Do me a massive favour, give the video a like and subscribe. Helps Stephen get to 100,000. I've been doing this for like years now. I want to get to 100,000. It'd be nice. Please help me get there. Come on. It'd be awesome. I want one of those plaques and help support the channel. Do it right now. Subscribe if you are new and let me know in the comments if you have done and I will say cheers. Let's talk about 5 things that we learned. Don't forget I did a pre-match reaction to this with more details if you want to go watch that. But for now, we're going to dive into the first topic of this video, and it's the only place I can start, really. I apologise for that pun. Donnarumma. The man's got aura, is what I'm trying to say. I bottled even putting it as one word because it's like a typo. So I put the hyphens in to make it Donnarumma. I tried. Anyway, this man has incredible aura. He truly, really does. That's the thing that it struck me. I was in the stadium at the weekend. I was actually there at the game, and it struck me massively is the right word, of how big this guy is and the presence that he demands from those around him. A phenomenal footballer, clearly a wonderful world-class goalkeeper. And I think I've probably not really realised just how much this guy feels like a superstar. Jesus. Oh, Sonic Q's on it better than me there in the chat. Donnarumma. Yeah, there you go. But I still wanted to get his name spelled right. Anyway. And I'll ignore the pun for now. But it surprised me how much he felt like a superstar seeing him in person. Like, the guy has a remarkable presence. He really does. The guy is absolutely huge. For one, he's unmistakable. I was sat, a second tier, and I was sat quite far away from him, but he looked massive from where I was sat. And the thing for me, as Curtis just pointed out, is you could tell he's a passionate man. His knee slide after the third towards the fans. I love that stuff. And it was little things, how he was constantly cajoling his teammates and constantly looking for, ways to improve or organise his back line. I saw this quote from his agent. It says Guardiola apparently was very happy to have him. He said, aside from how he wants Gianluigi to play, what he was asked was to wake up the Manchester City team because they need someone who can keep them on their toes and know how to revitalise the atmosphere. Donnarumma is a leader, sometimes a silent one, but an important one. I like this quote, actually. This is true, and it's probably just Donnarumma PR. I think there's something in this, absolutely. I think the team had gone maybe a little bit stagnant. The defence had gone a little bit maybe unresponsive in general, and Ederson is not really one for a vocal bollocking or anything like that. I think Ederson has also semi-checked out a little bit. Now we've got a keeper. Look, he's not as good as Ederson with his feet, not even close. Who is? But we've got a keeper who's an absolute warrior, who's got something to prove as well, because he's playing for one of the best managers in world football, and he's playing for a team that everyone will say he's going to fail at, given the fact that he doesn't play in a certain way with his feet. And I think there is something in this. I think Donnarumma, I think he has been tasked with, becoming this huge presence for Manchester City in not just one way, in many ways. And you can see that, as people were saying in the chat there. Mo said he was even giving Diaz orders, and I think Diaz, he needs that too. I think Diaz does need a reminder, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Diaz actually had a really good game against Man United. This guy is a big man who demands excellence around him. He is an elite level winner. He's an elite level winner, and it's very obvious. Did I say elite level winner twice? I think I did. It's very obvious that Haaland loves him as well because he's cut from a very similar cloth. It feels weird to say a goalkeeper could change the dressing room, but it's very possible that a man of that stature comes in, and a stature, I mean in terms of his credentials, but obviously physically as well. He's very hard to ignore. So I think that's what struck me. Like, this guy, as well as being a remarkable shot stopper, and we saw the big saves he made, he's also a man with immense natural leadership just by his sheer presence and his sheer experience and natural candor and charisma. And I think to me that is essential for this side, and it does need a kick up the bum right now. It really does. It needs a jolt in the arm because City have gone a little bit sleepy and they have lost their way a little bit. And as someone coming in like this who wants to win, who wants to achieve and can stand above people, literally, but also tell them what to do, you can't say no to that. And I think it's a really, really underappreciated aspect of what Donnarumma is going to bring to Manchester City. The Donnarumma is a real thing, and I can't wait to watch it in action for City. The second thing I want to talk about is Philip Walter Foden, our man Phil Foden. I thought Phil was absolutely brilliant in this game. It was the most encouraging performance of anyone this season, in my personal opinion, for City. I thought Foden was majestic. That was one of his best performances in an awful long time. That would have been one of his best performances even in the year he won the Player of the Year. It was brilliant. He was absolutely majestic on the ball. He showed the technical ability that this City side have been lacking, I would argue, over the past 3 or 4 games. He was just so smart with his use of the ball. He also played a little bit deeper. And I think right now, where City are, and we need these calm heads, we need this experience, Foden is essential. Like, Guardiola's talked a lot about the senior players, and Foden is in that group now. As we transition to a new side, they're going to have to be very useful. And you can turn around and see that's people like Haaland and Rodri and Diaz and, Donnarumma's not part of that because he's new, and maybe Vardy, but it's also Phil Foden. Like, Phil Foden's been doing this for nearly a decade at the highest level, winning trophies, and he's a PFA Player of the Year. He's only young still, Phil. What, 25 years old? Is he that? I don't even know how old he is, Phil. But he's young, but he's incredibly experienced. And Phil Foden is now, he's 25. He's a man who should be at the peak of his career, and he should be taking people like Reinders, who's older than him, but we should be taking him by the hand and telling him how to play for this Manchester City side. He should be telling Nico O'Reilly how to do it. He should be telling Doku and Savino and all these people and Bob the standards of Manchester City Football Club. And his performance against United was absolutely fantastic, and more than just leading by example. And there was a bit of David Silva to the performance, which I liked, by the way. I really liked. There was a hint of David Silva, which I've not seen for a while from Phil, which he can do. But more than that, he was cajoling his teammates. He was getting them going. He was taking responsibility. He was putting the team on those shoulders of his. And I absolutely love that because we need it right now. This City side is one flush with changes, and that's going to happen. And we're ripping off the Band-Aid quite aggressively. A lot of players have moved on. But people like Phil Foden, they have to step up. At this point, maybe not now, but in the next year or two, he should be in that leadership group. He's been here for such a long time. As he starts to get towards 30, Phil Foden absolutely should be one of the guys that people look to in the dressing room. He's not a young man anymore, not a little boy anymore. He's a man, a reasonably young man, but he is a man. And he's one that has to carry this side. And look, I hope he knows this. He probably does. But Phil Foden, Reinders looks to him. Nico Gonzalez is going to look to him because this is the guy who knows how to win. He's done it all. He's played in the biggest stage and won it all for Manchester City. He is a big-name footballer who stepped up against United and took this City side, which has been so nervous, on his back and showed the technical excellence that we needed. I love to see it. Haaland as well, another. This is a very similar point once again. A lot of these points are about presence and so on. But Haaland has been put in the leadership group this year, and that was a Guardiola decision, intentionally from Guardiola. He might have been there anyway if the team voted, but I don't know if that was even guaranteed, to be honest. If everyone voted, I would have guessed Bernardo, I would have guessed Ake, I would have guessed Diaz. Haaland might have been there. Rodri would have been in there. It's not guaranteed, but I believe Guardiola put him there. And I think that the change in tone we've seen from Haaland over the past few months is very intentional. I think this is a man, once again, who obviously is very young, but also, like Phil Foden, Haaland is not that young anymore. He's 25 years old, the same age him and Phil, only a couple of months in them. But they're both now men. Like, obviously, Haaland's always been a very big lad, but he's been young, and he's always had this sort of playful, elusive, kind of boyish tone in interviews. But now I feel like there's a shift where Haaland is talking quite bluntly about the team as a whole, about taking responsibility. And I love watching Erling Haaland step up to the up to the front of the side and telling them what to do and leading by example. Haaland was sensational against United. And as Ash B said in the chat there, Donnarumma, Diaz, Rodri, Haaland, add Foden and Vardy to that if you want to. It's a spine to rival anything in the Premier League and in Europe, absolutely, in my opinion. But yeah, Haaland was fantastic. He was aggressive. He was everywhere. He was winning headers in his own box, scoring goals, being an absolute monster up front. Great link-up play as well. This is the Haaland that you expect. There's always a point where great players become leaders by their sheer brilliance, and because eventually others look to them. So you're sort of like Ronaldo became a leader for his side. I don't think Ronaldo's a great personality. I can't stand the man personally. I think he's a bit of a narcissist and so on. But I can't deny that Ronaldo leads by example. He absolutely does. Messi led by example. David Silva led by example. De Bruyne led by example because they were the best players in the teams. And eventually that starts to matter because people start to look at you. Look at Lewandowski leading for his national side, leading by example of his brilliance. And Haaland has that physical presence to do that even more. And obviously the fact that he loves this club as well. He is a City fan, but he's going from a young man to becoming an actual man now. They're both fathers, him and Phil Foden. They both have got a settled family life, They're men now. They have to act like it, and they're showing signs of that. And I found more than performances, the mentality of Haaland and Foden and Donnarumma incredibly encouraging. I saw 3 world-class players being world-class, and I really, 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 really like that. Well, Dan just said in the chat, my concern is winning second ball, not enough ball possession. Well, Dan, the 4 point I want to talk about was there's loads of room to improve, and I've used this picture for a reason because Ruben Diaz at one point was bollocking Rodri for being a little bit sloppy. Rodri has every right to be sloppy right now. He's getting better, but there is loads to improve. Look, it's absolutely not good enough for City to have the possession that they did against Man United at home at the Etihad. United are on the poorest sides in the league, but look at this. Where are we going here? What's going on? Why is he not brilliant? Come on, 1 second. Where are you? There we go. But United won the poorest sides in the league, but they had more possession than us at home. 55% possession. Like, we have to be better than that. Our pass accuracy is down to 81%. That is simply not good enough for Manchester City Football Club. A Guardiola side that doesn't dominate the ball, that doesn't bully a team territorially is not a Guardiola side. We have to be so much more than this. We were good in terms of our attitude. I think Guardiola said he really liked what he saw in terms of the mentality, the psychology of the players. They wanted the win. They obviously did. They grabbed that game aggressively, which I really, really enjoy. But technically, structurally, tactically, it has to be miles better. We have to be better winning the second balls. You're right down in the chat. You have to be better technically. Like, we've given the ball away so much, so sloppily. And, Diaz was telling Rodri that. And Rodri was probably telling Reinders that. And so on and so on and so on. And Nico O'Reilly was really good. And Kusno was really good at fullback. But they were a little bit sloppy as well. And the team was a little bit sloppy keeping the ball. And I think, Guardiola definitely wants quicker transitions, but he doesn't want to give the ball away at the same time. You can transition quick, but also not give the ball away constantly. I don't know. You do that against Arsenal or someone like that, Liverpool, you're inviting an awful lot of problems because they're better sides than us right now. I think it'll get better. It will do. Once Rodri clicks, once Reinders clicks, then you're going to have a vastly different Manchester City Football Club because the midfield is the heart of the team. Literally, metaphorically, it is. We need them to be better. And I think there's loads of room to improve. We can't sit here and pretend everything was perfect. We did take our chances, but other teams, better teams than United, will do better than us against that because they are. United are shite, to put it simply. They're a really bang average to poor side right now. Like, they aren't more than a mid-table side, if not slightly less than that. So we can't look at United and read too much into this. I enjoyed the spirit. I enjoyed the individual performances, but the team performance was, in terms of a footballing lesson, masterclass, it wasn't there. We were lacking on that front. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend everything was perfect. I enjoyed individuals, but I didn't enjoy the collective as a team. We have to be a lot tighter than that, and I'm sure they will do. Finally, I couldn't decide who to go for here with Kusanov or Doku. I wanted to talk about both of them. So I'll put them both in the team. Kusanov absolutely staked his claim to be a right back now. A lot of people said he couldn't play there, but Kusanov, even if he was a little bit overzealous sometimes and a little bit, too loose with the ball, not loose with the ball, loose with his decision making in terms of jumping in at people and giving away silly free kicks. Kusanov was aggressive, and he had that side locked down so nicely. Like, United got nothing down that right side whatsoever because he was just so dominant and so powerful. His pace is an absolute cheat code, and he gives City so much security over that side. And while you've got the question marks around Rico Lewis and Mateus Nunes, Kusanov right now, as John just said, an overzealous Kusanov is still much more secure than a cautious Nunes. I added a much more, John, for a reason, because it's absolutely. I mean, you can't deny the fact that Kusanov just defensively is so good. He's so good. He's sort of got like a Zabba feel with a Kyle Walker pace recovery. He's not as tactically sound as either of those players because they're both actual right backs, Zabaleta and Walker, much better right backs than this guy. But in terms of pure defensiveness, defensive words, defensive capabilities, Kusanov is probably better than both of them in terms of, maybe not better than Walker. I don't know. He's a level, I would say, in terms of his natural defensive instincts. Absolutely. And also Doku as well. Doku was absolutely brilliant in that game. Like, Doku needs to find that consistency, but Doku was remarkable against United. That shimmy is against Luke Shaw is truly world class. That was a world-class bit of skill to get past United's back line and create a goal that I don't know how many players can get past this player there. I truly mean that. The way they have to shift his body from one side to the other, that is incredibly hard to do. To run square at a defence that's reasonably settled and go past them, that is incredibly hard to do. Like, that is like genius level skill. Doku has genius level skill. It's also always just been the final ball or the end product that people are questioning him about. But if he does what he does, against United, 2 assists, could have had a third assist. He was robbed the one where he hit the post. Look, I thought Doku was really good. He was aggressive. He rose to the challenge that Manchester City clearly had his teammates put in front of him, and I thought he was really, really good. Doku, there is a spot on the left there for him if he wants it. And I truly think Doku as well, truly think he enjoyed playing with Phil Foden. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this performance. I thought Kusanov and Doku have absolutely staked a claim. And the thing is, right now, there's so many spots in the team. People want it. Like, obviously, Rodri will get that slot. Haaland's got his slot. I think Vardiel and Diaz, I think that's a partnership that's going to take some beating right now. They're going to play those two. And the right back slot's open. Kusanov, can he get that? Nunes, can he get it? The left back slot's open. Can it be Nico Reines? Can it be Ake's right now? Given Aït-Nouri is not in the team. Central midfield, Foden has got a slot there in my opinion. Rodri's got a slot there in my opinion. After that, Reines isn't playing great. He's got a lot to go. Nico Gonzalez, go for it. And right wing, I think it's very obvious that all left wing, there's a lot of spots available for this side. Haaland, there's only about 4 or 5 that have locked down right now. So the thing is, that's a good thing and a bad thing. If we find the right mentality, if we find the aggression in the side, it will heal itself eventually. And it goes back, to all these points I was making about Donnarumma's aura, which is powerful, and Foden proving essential for City with his technical ability and his leadership, and Haaland becoming the captain, all these points. Goes back to that. If the big guys, your Diaz, your Donnarumma, your Rodri's, Haaland, Foden's, your experienced winners, Vardiel, if they step up, then anyone who missed the first point, by the way, if you joined late, I did attempt a terrible pun, Donnarumma. Apologies, I'll stop there. Yeah, but if you get those players performing, the rest will slot in around them. And I like that personally. I wanted to talk about so many more things, but I did it in the match reaction. Go and watch that if you want to. For now, though, I am knackered. It's 8:30. I want some dinner. And, of course, I'll be live tomorrow for a match preview. Up the Blues. Do not ever let beating Man United 3-0 pass you quickly. Enjoy it. I know this is 2 days later, but savour that victory. And let me know 5 things that you took from the game in the comments below. And once again, don't be a fool. Subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye, guys. Blue Moon. Wait. Never felt more like singing the blues. City win, United lose. Oh, City. You got me singing the blues. 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4.